This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at Camden Boxing Centre here. You're a bit of a mover, aren't you? Hold on, let me come back here. No, you're good. Like, yeah, one of them. One of them. I'm joined by Richard Riakphore, in action, June the 11th, live on Sky Sports. I suppose you're glad to kind of get these media things done earlier rather than fight week, aren't you?
Yes, of course. So I can just focus primarily on the task at hand. So it's good. I don't mind this.
Turchi, which was kind of the previous opponent before the Juma fight came up. You handled business there, but it's back to Turchi now. Was that always the plan, to get Turchi after Juma again now?
Yeah, because that deal was a done deal, and obviously that fell through because of whatever reason that did. And you know, we had a short camp to prepare for Juma. And we thought it only makes sense that we go back into that. So I had one camp for Southpaw, and there's no point in changing things. So keep it consistent, and I'm much more comfortable in front of Southpaws now. So yeah, I think that was the plan. And plus, it was important because of his position in the IBF. You know, he was ranked. I don't know exactly where he was ranked, but he's ranked in the top 10. And we thought, yeah, it makes sense. So we can progress in our career further.
When we look at your resume throughout your career, not had loads of fights as a professional, but when you look through the resume, there's good names on there. Your resume kind of speaks well. But without saying, I'm not being disrespectful, but at 32, it's time for you to really now crack on. You want these kind of big paydays, these big money fights, these big world level fights. This is the time for you to do that now.
100% Cougs, and you know, I would say my mileage is low. You know, I barely take any damage. You know, even in the last few fights, I haven't taken no damage, and the time is now. Just like you said, 32, pushing on, and there's a lot more opportunities. There's a lot of money to make. So why not? You know, why not go for it? You know, I didn't have that amateur background. I kind of see myself as a guy that just beats the odds all the time. You know, nothing to lose. And yeah, I fancy my chances against everybody, honestly. And I feel like it's probably because I just lived a life. You know, I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in my ability, despite the punch power. So yeah, I'll go for it. And I remember from the talks that we had, I never forget. I always mention it. I mean, even when I was taking Tommy McCarthy, it was like, yeah, that's a good fight. You know, that's a good fight, man. Like, well done. That's what people want to see, and that's how you're going to progress. So all those fighters that I took on, even though, you know, it was one of those 50-50s or maybe 60-40 in their favor, it actually developed me mentally and physically for all of my next opponents. So I'm really happy. It was a kind of hard route, but I really do see the benefits, and look where we are today.
It's funny because I'm 40 and you're 32 and I'm going, mate, you need to crack on. Not that I'm in your game, obviously, but I'm just saying But boxing, you know that age you're at now is kind of the age where prime time is where we want to kind of see you in those kind of fights. But like I said to you, your resume, looking through like 14 fights you've had?
Yeah,
14 fights you've had. All right. The names in there are kind of as good as anyone else's fought domestically.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like, I don't know. I've lost count of how many undefeated fighters I fought. Everybody was a challenge. You know, every single fighter, and some fighters which were more of a challenge on paper, I dealt with in better fashion, in great fashion. So you know, it just shows what type of fighter I am. You know, I'm not scared to take fights, and I fancy my chances. I really do believe in myself.
Will we see a stint at heavyweight at some point in your career?
Yeah, of course, why not? I'm doing all things. Listen, there's no limits.
Bridge your weight?
There's no limits. I'll do everything. I'll literally do everything. It all depends on the business. It all comes down to business. There's a heavyweight fight in front of me, and it makes sense. I'm taking that. There's a bridgerweight fight there. I'm taking that. If it all makes sense, you know, financially and career-wise, you know, career benefits.
What's your dream heavyweight fight?
As in against who?
Yeah. Dream your number one heavyweight fight. If you could have one fight heavyweight, and that would be your only fight.
Oh man, with the current fighters, Tyson Fury, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyson Fury. I think that would be a bang.
Riakphore calls out Tyson Fury. No, I'm joking. But no, I was just asking because, like I said to you, you've not done everything you want to do at cruiserweight yet. So exactly. You know.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not thinking about that at the minute. I'm thinking about doing what I need to do at cruiserweight, and then moving on, winning world titles, unifying, and then we can talk about the heavyweights, you know, and we can see where we are in our career. But look at me, I'm like 6'5", I've got a big frame, I walk around over 100 kg, you know, I come down to fight at cruiserweight, and you can see that how big I am when I on fight nights. And yeah, I believe I can pack on. I'll be actually a decent sized heavyweight. Obviously, I'm not going to be as big as Tyson Fury, but yeah, 100% fancy my chances there. Trust me, I can take some, and I can definitely dish. Yeah.
Very interesting. But listen, before we can think about anything, obviously all that matters to you is June 11th, and he's doing a job on Fabio Turchi.
Yeah, and that's all we're focused on. We're not focused on nothing else but Fabio Turchi. I wake up to Fabio Turchi. I think about him when I go to bed. You know, it's like a intimate relationship. You know. Until then, we're gonna have an intimate time in the room.
Some great quotes there. Quick one before I let you go. We saw that situation regarding Anthony Joshua. So what is your thoughts on it? Everyone's had their thoughts on it. Was he right? Was he wrong? I totally, I'll just put this out there, I get where he's coming from with this kind of thing in a certain way, but what did you think?
It was actually funny, you know, when I saw the hours and stitches, I swear to God. And we had dinner yesterday, or lunch, and then I was just laughing with AJ, just like, that is the funniest thing ever. But like, I love what you did. Sometimes you have to stick on these people. There's too many of these social media warriors, man. They're just behind the computers just talking, and I just see the student as one of those. You know, you want to heckle some things out the window. Okay, so when the person comes to your face now and confronts you, what's your reaction? You should maintain keep the same energy, innit? Keep the same energy. But he couldn't. He melted, and you know what? To be honest, I kind of started feeling for the kid. I was like, wow, like he looks scared as hell, you know.
Did he tell you, Richard, did he tell you what was actually shouted to him? Because there's like a couple of different stories about what was actually heckled or shouted at him.
I don't even know. I didn't ask him. I just found it so funny. He said some things. I'm gonna ask him today. Yeah, but he said some things, and that's the response that he got. But he looked like he was getting told off like a school teacher. Don't ever in your life do that. I actually felt sorry for him, man. I think he's gonna be traumatized for the rest of his life. Honestly, he can never forget that. And I would have been scared too. Imagine this big heavyweight, 2-time heavyweight world champion coming to my face talking about cracked jaws and stuff. Please, I'm sorry. It's almost like, you know, when you get pissed and then you make a joke and you just like, why did I do that for? Like, why? I'm so sorry. I'll do anything to just, you know, fix it.
Last thing I will say is, we don't know exactly what was said, obviously, but it's got to be more than just, oh, Fury's going to beat you. It's got to have been a little bit more to kind of switch AJ's switch on.
I'm going to find out what was said, and then I'll tell everybody exclusively on IFL. So stay tuned.
Watch out for part 2. Richard, you got your media workout now. Listen, we'll catch up with you fight week. Yep. Best of luck on June 11th.
Appreciate that, Kugs, man. Love always.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.